Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Love Soul podcast. Today, I have a really great guest, Mr. Jadeverett Mayhorn. I'm going to read his bio, but first of all, he's done so many things. Like when I read his bio, but I also know the things that he's done, like on Twitter and all of his other stuff. I was like, man, this guy, I don't know how much you've done in just your short span of life, but Jadeverett Mayhorn is a spirit guide, a soul engineer, and business development digital marketing consultant. A graduate of illustrious Prairie View A&M University in the field of chemical engineering, he aims to awaken millions of lives around the world with his messages of unleashing the God within and seeking inwards for your answers to life's toughest questions. So welcome.
Appreciate you, Bessie, man. Great opportunity. I appreciate you having me on.
It's so great to have you here. And when I first started following you on Twitter, it's so funny. I got your ebook, Unleash the God Within. And I was so interested by how you were presenting, the way to inner love and creation and all of that. And it was an amazing book. And I think I read it a couple of times. And then I just realized while I was looking for it in my email that I didn't download it from your old platform. So I was like, oh man, because I wanted to refresh myself again, but it's okay. I think I got the gist. But since then, you've also done webinars to help people. You've got a podcast where you have several, tens of, I don't know, maybe even 100 guests. How many guests have you had?
So far, I've had about 20 guests or so, and then I make little clips of the video.
Okay, that's awesome though. And they're
really playing the works.
Yeah, really just putting this message out into the world. What happened? Tell me your story from this chemical engineering from A&M to this wonderful spirit guide.
So, man, where do I start? Life. So I guess what got me into like chemical engineering. So my brother and my sister are computer engineers, and then my brother has a master in computer engineering, and my sister has a master's and a PhD in electrical and mechanical engineering. Wow. So me being the youngest in my family, I kind of didn't know what I really wanted to do out of life. And this kind of like just kind of give like a little context to how I got into my spiritual journey. So I go to school. I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I liked chemistry, but I didn't really know about like engineering or anything. So I was like, I'm going to go to school and do chemical engineering. It's crazy to say it like that, but that was really like my decision making with it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I go to school. Went to Prairie View. I did that. It took me 5 years to graduate. And then around 2013, my senior year of college, me and my cousin had this dialogue with his granny about like religion, about God, about government. And these things just started at this time, it just sparked this thought in my mind. And then I watched this documentary called Zeitgeist, and it literally blew my mind. It made me question everything that I ever thought. Like, it was crazy. And so like, and at this time I was on an internship for Texas Instruments. And so I worked for them, the company that makes calculators. So I was interning with them for about 3 months and living in Dallas. And so along this journey, I'm researching, questioning everything, using everything that I've learned in my engineering classes to find the truth. Because that's all I really wanted. All I really wanted to find is truth. And like, I felt like I had been told lies or have truths. Like, I don't think that people maliciously did it. Well, not the people that taught me. But I thought that what I've been taught was half truth. So I needed to go find the answers for myself. And so going along that journey, I graduated from Prairie View. I started working in the engineering field as a process and equipment engineer. And I'm just like, this is not where I need to be. Like, my soul is just like, I just felt like getting tugged and pulled in so many different directions. And so yeah, that was kind of what really set me off and going into it. And then I started experimenting with psychedelics, and then started researching different religions from Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Taoism, like everything that I can get my mind everything. I was just reading everything, trying to understand this whole aspect of life. Like, and started changing the way I ate, started changing the way I thought, started changing a little bit of my habits. And then, and I don't know, along my journey, I started picking up writing, and I hated writing, you know, and that really started to help me figure out my answers, because along the journey, I'm trying to go through everybody else's blueprint. Like, I was trying to follow my brother and my sister, because I've seen them have what was to them a successful life, but not to me. Well, it's successful, but it's not how I saw it. And so I had to figure out my own answers, and I started writing. And then my writing started to turn into books, into affirmations, into just content that I wanted to share with the world. You know, it helped me. So I just felt like I can help people with that.
That's so cool. That's really cool. And it's so interesting because I love listening to the journey, like the awakening journey that people have, because every single one of them is so different and so unique. And like mine, I was sort of forced into my awakening, where I didn't really have a choice. It's almost as if I waited so long that the universe was just fed up with my shit and was like, no, you're being shoved into it now. And I love how you did it, because, and I mean, such a Sagittarius energy for you to do this, but you were, you know, seeking to find out who you were after all these years of being like, wanting to grab from other people's stuff and like, this doesn't feel right. Why doesn't this feel right? They can do it. Why isn't it right for me? Even though you could do it. I mean, you probably weren't bad at many things. So I really love that journey that had you go into that direction. And when you were writing those books, did you ever think that you were going to like publish them and make them ebooks and like put it out into the world the way that you did?
Nah, I honestly, it was like I was reading these. So I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich, Conversations with God. It was books that were saying just right, you know, so I can get my own answers, you know, like that was genuinely my intention, was just to figure out what I needed to do, because like how I grew up, my mom, like it was more of a like, you're going to church, like, you know, in the South, you're going to church, you're going, like, we go to Bible study, youth meeting, choir rehearsal, Sunday school, 3:30 service. So I was indoctrinated with all of this half truths, I'll say.
Yeah.
And so, but on the other hand, my dad was this more like awakened being, like he questioned everything. He left breadcrumbs for me and my siblings to kind of follow. He never forced anything on us, and so it kind of gave me this like duality, like God was really, really like solid in my life. Like I really believed everything that you going to church. But I also had this like childlike curiosity, like, it's something else out there. I just gotta figure this thing out.
And like, cause I searched for a higher being when I was younger. Like my parents didn't go to church or anything. So I actually started going to church with my grandmother on my own when I was like 7. I mean, I just did it on my own.
Oh,
and
nice.
And so but what I remember from that because I put it myself into it, I thought, this is for me. This is what but I was just searching for that higher source and that higher love. And now I know that, but through the years in my teenage years and being in like the teenage Christian groups that I was in, and then even when I was a young adult and I was like a high school ministry teacher, like I was really in the church. And I realized when I felt wounded, like the first really big wounding of my young adult years, how much I resented God. The God that I had learned about from the church, that's the God that I was like, because they had put it in such a form that it was like my father, and I didn't like my father. My father wasn't even around. Like, why would I, And so I felt very betrayed by the God that I was, the Christianity, and I had gone to Baptist churches, and I went to a Episcopalian and Pentecostal, like I spanned the Christian religion to see where I fit. And I mean, there wasn't a spot for me.
Yeah. No, I fully understand what you're saying, because they give you this view that God is something outside of yourself. When people are really looking to remember who they are, like people know innately that I believe that people know innately that they are a part of God, but like these things distract them from it. And I went through the similar journey through my awakening back in 2013 when I saw that documentary. Like I said, I started to question everything, and God was the main culprit, you know. So I'm like, man, like God's not real, Jesus not real. Like I went through my whole question in religion, but my whole journey came back full circle, and it was like, no, God isn't only something outside of you, it's something within you as well. Right. And you have to remember who you are to, you know, to feel this connection that we're all looking for. You know, everybody's looking for a connection. They're looking to feel whole. And these religions, they teach people that you aren't whole. They're teaching you that God is something you got to pray to a middleman. Every religion is the same. Like they have a Jesus, the Buddha, and you have Muhammad, to ask, Christian.
You know, when you ask for forgiveness, or when you're saved and you place yourself in the hands of a dead
of somebody else, and that's not where you want to be. You want to have somewhat control over your destiny and who you are, you know, and putting your hands in somebody else. You know, like I always think that they left us a good I feel like each religious messenger left us a great blueprint to follow, you know, and that's what I feel like my books are, you know, like all I'm doing was doing what I'm listening to the messenger instead of just the message that somebody else is giving me from them. And so they wrote and they shared that message. And that's what what I aspire to do with unleashing the God within.
Well, and your message really is about finding that love, like, and it's not even the search for it because it already exists within you.
It's a remembering.
Yeah. And it's just taken away all of the layers of the bullshit that the world told you to think about yourself as, you know, and it's so true that some people have much more difficult paths than others. And I'm really big on reminding people that it's the amount of suffering that you allow yourself in a lifetime. And that comes from the love that you have within yourself. Because I don't think that anybody who chooses not to suffer has not gone through a great amount of loving themselves first, because there's just so much of that. So just tell me a little bit about, or just tell us a little bit about unleashing the God within, and some of like the most important points that you think for people to really look at when they're going through their awakening. Because a lot of people are doing that. It's happening right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like unleashing the God within is a thing of where we're all sleeping gods and goddesses walking around here, you know, and we're in the process of awakening, you know, like people talking about staying woke and waking up. I honestly believe that is just understanding that you are a soul. You're the soul inside. You're the God, you're the divine being inside. And so it's really finding practices to help yourself remember who you are. That's really simply what I believe it is. And some things that I feel like has helped me remember who I am along the way is finding different practices like meditation, yoga, eating better, because these things help clear away all the toxic, all the bullshit, as you mentioned, that's been kind of ingrained in us, you know, like I felt like, because in college, it was crazy. And I'll just tell you a story about this. And like, this is my unleashing the God within like process. In high school, like I was an athlete. I played basketball. So I was pretty in shape. I was 175 when I graduated. My sophomore year of college, I got up to 250 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I gained all of this weight because I was like, so first off, I got hurt playing basketball. And so I couldn't do what I actually loved. Like basketball was my first love. I still love it to this day. I referee now. But I got hurt my freshman year, and like my hoop dreams, they all like, I couldn't do anything with them. I was gonna play for the school and with my two best friends, and we was gonna do all of that.
Wow.
And so once I got hurt, like I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I was just like, man, I'm just kind of here. And so like I started eating like like I started eating even worse food, and I couldn't like work out to do, I'm eating McDonald's, Jack in the Box, MSC food, and all this different bad stuff. And so I got up to 250 pounds.
Wow.
And so, like once I graduated and started working, like, and I'm on my journey. So I started learning about Dr. Sebi and alkaline diets and just eating more fruits and vegetables. And that's when I really got on my smoothie. That's when I got on my smoothie game.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I really started to do back in 2014, 2015. I was making smoothies every day. Mm-hmm. And so just researching this stuff, it made me want to eat better. It made me want to do better because I see the world. Like I see all of these, like just these negative aspects of life and how people are suffering, and it's like the best way I felt like I could help people not suffer is to be a better person, do better myself, eat better, think better, meditate, yoga. And so like, I feel like those tools really help me to like calm my mind, clear out the bad energies, and start to fuel myself with some good stuff, and it's like I start to feel really connected with people. And it's like I'm able to have better conversations. I'm able to manifest my life in different ways. I'm able, like, writing books. Like I never thought I would have did that. Like I always had people write stuff for me, and like, like I wasn't one that wanted to write. Like I was good at math and science, but I never wanted to write. I never wanted to do any of this stuff.
Well, you do it very well. You do it very well.
Appreciate you. And it's like, it's something that I just speak from my heart. Like all I do is like, even when I talk to my family, my friends, tweet, podcasts, it's like, I just want to share a little bit of my journey, share a little bit of my heart, my soul, and maybe it'll inspire somebody. It might not, but at least, at least I'm getting to feed my own soul by giving it away. Yeah. And it's like, people don't want to give stuff away. It's like, I don't know. It's like you always want to receive, but you don't want to give. And it's like people want to force stuff on people. Well, and I feel like that's where a lot of suffering comes from.
Yeah. Well, and my partner and I were talking the other day about how when it's like a reciprocity thing, you have to think of it in your mind as everything is energy. So even if you're given out, you're not going to get the energy back in the same exact way that you put it out. You're going to get it in some other different way. So, when we get into that like whole, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. It's for me, like, I can't be in that kind of box. I'm like, but see, whatever kind of reciprocity you have expectations of me, I can't do that. So I think that's another thing is, people are we place a lot of expectations on people these days as well for no reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like, I only think that people are doing what was done to them or what they see through like their parents and through their parents' parents and like the school system, the religions. Right. It's like they teach you that you have to do something to get something, like I always use this example, like religion says, if you don't do, and like, I didn't get this, I didn't create this. I heard this in like a podcast or something, but religion say, if you don't do what I say, you'll go to hell. In school say, if you don't do what I say, you're gonna go to jail. I mean, you're gonna go to jail. No, you're gonna fail. And so, and then it's like all of these different things say, if you don't listen to what I say, you're gonna go to jail. It's like all of these different things that say, if you don't listen to me, you're not, it's not gonna work out. But like the thing is, like, once people actually listen to themselves, because people innately know the answers, and then it's like we try to get this twisted morality that's been like taught, that's been like given to us. And it's like we try to live in, like you said, like live into that expectation box that people try to fit us in. It's like nobody fits into it. Nobody fits into our own morality boxes.
Right.
And it's like when you think about like your own humanity, your own divinity, then you start to make decisions in better ways that can help influence your life for the better and help influence the lives of people around you for the better. It's like what makes the most sense. Not and what's
it's
the most
different for everyone too. That's the beautiful part, is that we were all given these unique gifts. And when we get to tap into those unique gifts, that's the blessing, because then we get to share it with everybody else. And right. That all of that. All of that.
Because because I was saying, because like if you don't tap into your own gifts, you'll be trying to live somebody else's reality. And then it doesn't feel, you won't feel connected to yourself. You won't feel connected to life. You'll be like, you'll try to feel your life through somebody else's experience, which it's like, it's like you're trying to get this invisible line, you're trying to make these connections, but it's like, it's not doing it because, it's like, I don't know, it's like, you're not necessarily living for you. You're living for those expectations, and that never works.
Yeah. So there's something in the spiritual community now, and like, I'm one of those teachers or whatever, I'm going to teach you to live within yourself wholly and live through that humanity too, right? Because we came here to live a human experience. I don't care. Yeah. The only, like, you're good, the amount of spirituality that you're going to feel is also the amount of humanity you're going to feel too. Like, it can't be, so we're coming into this where spirituality is getting really, really popular. And there's this thing that, I mean, maybe I was even a little bit guilty of buying into this a little bit too, where if you're just not vibing with somebody or whatever, that you can just like cut them off and get, whatever. And, and I understand that, like, if you're in a connection with somebody that's very traumatic and really toxic, of course, that's kind of an action. But I feel like people are almost doing it too quickly these days. Like, we've all just decided that we're no longer giving anybody a chance. And it's all just like, boom, the cancel culture, basically. I feel like there's really something to look at with all of that, because that's not love, obviously. That's not coming from a place of love. So I was really interested on getting your perspective on what you thought of the vibration and when you, like, because I know that my thoughts are that, if people, the perspectives that other people have in their lives, of course, are not going to be the same ones that I have. So I have no idea what's going on in their life. And if they're treating me a certain way, I'm not going to take that personally. Right. So it just is very interesting right now to see how new age spirituality is just like, nope, you don't vibe with me, I'm done.
Well, I think that's just the same as people have always treated each other. If you're not Christian, you don't vibe with me. If you're not Buddhist, you don't vibe with me. Like, I think that people just, like, they're not going to the root cause, like the root issue.
Is it just another way to divide us then?
I would say that people are like, I don't even think Christianity and, like, I don't even think that the religions are a way to divide us. I think that people just use these without, I'll say, the right intention. Like, people aren't working on getting their heart right and getting the hate out their own heart that was taught. Because I believe that we're all pure, we're all divine from birth. But we learn evil ways, we learn hatred, we learn fear, we learn doubt, we learn worry along the way. And those things are what makes people treat each other like that. Right. But I feel like whenever we're working on getting our own heart right and, like, loving ourselves, then that's the key part of spirituality. That's the key part of religions. That's the key part of any tool that you want to use to get closer to God. Like, I feel like that people aren't using these things to connect with themselves. They're using it to divide, and I think that that's just kind of what we've been ingrained with.
Yeah. And I think that with anything really that sort of becomes a trend, I guess, or becomes something that a lot of people get interested in, because of the perspectives, things are going to get skewed. And I mean, there's just the reality that a lot of people don't learn, how, the proper techniques to work with, spirituality in some ways. Yeah. And I just think that it can become, I'm wanted to get your opinion on it, because I feel like it could just become like a really toxic thing. And you're absolutely right that, in each religion that there's sort of a running away with the ego.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that nothing is inherently evil. I think it's just how you use it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think that we need
I really like looking at things that way, just because I always give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm always going to be like, you know, when they say in the courtroom, innocent until proven guilty, like, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt until you prove to me that I can no longer trust you. I trust you. And I just feel like I'm so, there's just so few of me that actually trust people in this world. And I used to be called gullible very much when I was younger, because I would trust people just, you know, automatically. My mom was always like,
I think that's a great heart to have. Like, nah, I'm the same way with you. It's like I'm all about giving people that, you know, that benefit of doubt and like chances, you know, because nobody's perfect. You know, it's like we make mistakes, you know, it's like I always think about like the whole cutting off people. Like, you don't ever have to cut people off. Like, the fruit, like, it's just like nature, you know, always connect everything back to nature. It's like whenever you see leaves on a dying plant, it starts to just fall away. You know, you don't have to, like, some people go out and, you know, snip the, you know, when they got gardens, they go out and snip stuff, but
it'll do it naturally.
It tends to do it naturally. And it's like, oh, I think about that with people. And I think about that, like, I'll say in my past relationships, friendships, like, I've never had to be like, nah, I don't F with you no more. We're not gonna be friends. It's like I just do me. I love, you know, I work on myself. I do the best that I can in my life. And people that's for me, they gravitate around me, and people that's not, they disperse, you know, and it's fine either way, you know, because I know that I'm living, like, especially now, I know that I'm living within my heart and within my soul. So like now I'm like, shoot, if you with me, you with me. If not, then like you might see the light later, because I'm gonna still be doing me.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, because it's just so refreshing to speak to a healthy masculine energy. I have my partner, and he's amazing. And like when I met him, I was like, there are people like you that exist. But I already knew, because like I'd already been following you, and it was funny because I started to recognize what a healthy masculine energy looked like. And actually your page was one of them that kind of caught my eye, where I was like, oh wow, this dude is like not talking with his ego at all. That's, or like your negative ego, your boastful ego, because we all need to have that egoic part of us that is healthy. But but it's so like refreshing to be able to speak to a masculine energy and watch the, you know, the kind of that balance start to happen, because it's like so many feminines I've been surrounded by this like awakening with all these feminines, and I didn't really recognize that there were any healthy masculines around. And of course, the more that I healed that vibration, you know, you guys all started showing up in my, you know, energy with that vibration. So yeah, it was a really great awakening for me as well, because like for me, I had a really tough time with men my whole life. Like it was not something that, I just was not a fan of, you know, and I had been married and divorced twice. And so, I was kind of in this place where I, you know, didn't even know what a healthy masculine looked like. So, I
definitely understand. I definitely understand, because I've had that phase. Like I wasn't always this person. I had my my misogynist moments, my toxic moments. Like I've definitely been there, and like how I like, you know, it's like, I guess along this journey, I realized what I was doing to the women that I was dating, you know, and like, I don't want to give up that energy, you know, like I don't, you know, so like, it's things that I had to learn through and grow through. And like, I don't know, it's like how men are raised. You can just look at history, and it's just been like toxic. And I want to be one of the examples for what, and I didn't know what, like I've had great examples of men in my life, like my dad, like my brother, my uncles, but we all have like a part of toxicity in there. And so like, I wanted to find like what was really healthy for me, you know, because I tried to follow what they were doing and like understand, and I experienced that. I'm like, this ain't the right way. Like y'all got yeah, like y'all got some good ways, but like some of the ways, it's like, I don't know about that. And so like, then I'm like, I have to go through my own experiences to learn myself and go through this. And like, now I feel like I go into relationships different now, it's like, it's truthful, like just going about, who I am and what what I am like. And so like, that's how I like to kind of go about it. It's like, I don't know, like I feel like religion has really like got a stranglehold on what things should look like, and government and prescription pills. Like I feel like a lot of this stuff really like twists people's minds.
Yeah, a lot.
And it's like stuff shouldn't be the way it is. It's like we should really love people, like instead of like hurting people. It's like we love people, but we hurt them like to
right.
Like,
yeah. Well, and I'm really embracing and hopefully helping other people embrace the idea of the sovereign interdependent relationship.
Yeah.
Whether it's romantic or whether it's a friendship or whether it's with your parents, your children. Like I have 2 adult boys and then a little boy. So me having, healthy masculine energy around them, having healthy masculine energy around, like for me, I just love to look at the future and be like, oh, thank God. Like there's hope, there's hope.
Nah, for real. Like that dependency, like that depending on somebody else to make you happy has really twisted relationships in directions that is never supposed to go. It's like you said, that interdependency, but having that like, sustaining yourself first, and then it's not magnifying.
And we're not even talking about financial, like, sure, if you need to have that financial stability for your safety, but sustaining yourself first emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in that wholeness and that one. So when you do get into your relationships, you're not trying to mold into that person.
Yeah, like you feel yourself with love, and then you can gas somebody else up. I had tweeted that a while back, but it's like, you fuel yourself with this energy. You fuel yourself with this good vibration, this good energy. And then that energy, you don't necessarily have to do anything to fuel them. Just the kind of the aura just uplifts people is what I'm noticing. I don't.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I have recognized the interdependent relationship versus codependent that I've had in the past.
Oh,
I want to be around him all the time. I didn't even like my ex-husbands. I realized that because I didn't like being around them. I tried to get away from them as much as I possibly could sometimes. And I know they did the same with me. They didn't like me. But with my partner now, like we work together. We're with each other 24/7. And yes, we get into like little spats every now and then, but that's what we do. The argument or not arguments, but conversations have to happen, we gotta get on levels and stuff. But it's so amazing because when you're in a codependent relationship, you are actually pitting each other against each other all the time. It's insane. When I recognized that, I was like, this is a crazy world that we live in.
We're insane, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result is insanity. And it's like, nah, it's like, because it's like when you know and love yourself, you're able to like understand who you are, what you need, and then you can actually genuinely like the person for who they are because you see them for who they are instead of seeing them for who you want them to be and who you want to mold them to be and who you want to change them to be. And it's like, nah, it's like, let people be like,
and man, you're more patient with each other because you're coming at each other from your own places and you're not trying to, I just remember so many times I was always trying to get them to understand where I was coming from. And whenever I find myself trying to do that to my partner now, he's looking at me and he's like, I'm right here. Like, you don't have to push this so hard. And I'm like, okay, fine. But he was, and it's really fair to say that he was much more healed when we came together. And so I did a lot of healing with him, and like the patience that he had with me has been I've never had that kind of patience from anybody in my life. So
it's easier to heal.
Are on the rise.
Like for real. And this is inspiring me to just, get out more and do more, it's like, I
really need it. Like I know that you have a large female following on Twitter. I'm fully aware because these women need that actual love, real love vibration from masculines to understand that it's out there in the world, and maybe that you're not their masculine, but there's hope. And, you know, and because you give that off in a really big way, much more than you probably realize.
Yeah, because I really don't think about it. You know, I just, you know, I just try to do me, heal, you know.
That's why I'm trying to be like, see, I want to like, you know, get that out to you and let you know how much of an impact that you really do make. And it also helps, you know, the feminine to heal as well in a big way. You know, because we want to be able to feel that. And a lot of times too, an unhealed feminine energy can really take offense to a healed masculine energy too, and think that they're coming from a place of ego when they're not at all. But just because we've, you know, been programmed and conditioned to believe that, you know, certain things are, you know, or red flags or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like social media is a toxic place too, because like with what you're saying, like that has infiltrated the minds of the masses. Like social media, the mainstream media has embedded these divisive mechanisms within people's mind to where it's like you could have somebody healthy right there in front of your face, and then like you see somebody else, and then you start to compare, and you're like, oh dang, but you don't know how people feel. You know, like I was saying earlier, you're trying to live your experience through somebody else's. You're trying to live your feelings through somebody else's experience, and it's like they don't align. You know, it's like that's why like I haven't really been on social media, because it's like that's just a crazy place to be. And it's like, you know, it's like you it's like if you go be on there, you have to take time away to like get your mind right. Absolutely. And I feel like that's the journey that I've been on for like the last like 3 or 4 months. Like I have not been active, and like, you know, just to kind of like recenter myself, because like I've been like active, posting 20 times a day. Like I've been there, and like you can get ingrained in other people's experiences, and it starts to like infiltrate your mind. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like that movie Inception, you know, or The Matrix. It's like they embed these things, and like if you're not really aware of it, you'll start to believe it. And then you start to believe it about yourself. Absolutely. And so like that's why I think like it's, you definitely have to find practices to like take a step back with meditation, with yoga. Like those things really help me to stay centered through all of this stuff, because I'm in the world, in that social media world, but I feel like I've been really strong-minded to not really let it affect me in ways that can bring out the old toxicity, or bring out the old me, you know. So
you know, it's funny. I have a love-hate relationship with the internet, because, you know, I've had the YouTube channel for about 5 years now. And in the beginning, YouTube wasn't so good about keeping the harassment at, you know, a lower level. And so, and people were bad, like really, really bad. And I went through, in those 5 years, I went through a lot of physical changes, and everybody commented on every single physical change I went through. And so even though it was really painful for me, at the same time, it really helped me to learn how to love myself, because these strangers on the internet, they don't know who I am. They watch me for 20 or 30 minutes once a month, and they think that they know my life. So it was, it was really eye-opening. And then, you know, I, you know, am an astrology person. So I know why I have this affinity to the internet, and why I've had to like go through the journey of healing through that as well. So, but yeah, it's just like, I'm so there with you. It's one of those things where you have to, just with everything, you have to be so intentional with it and really discerning, and not get yourself wrapped up. Like, people are going to say some things, and none of those things are personal, especially if it's not somebody you don't know, like, you know, and so getting really super wrapped up in.
Because the internet is a powerful place. It's the most connected we've ever been in history. And so it's like, what do people do with this connection? That's really like what we kind of need to hone in on, you know, like you said, like using that this connection to heal through, to connect with people, you know. Like some people use it to talk about celebrity drama. And then when you put yourself out on the internet, you're like a celebrity to people,
Oh, right.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so like people just look for stuff to like distract themselves from their own lives, you know, and it's like,
yeah. Well, and
take that time. Take that time to sit with yourself. You know, it's like it's gonna be okay. It's like that pain teaches you a lot about yourself. Yeah. And it's like that's why I really like to take a step back, because just sitting inside my own stillness, inside my own pain, inside my own, I'm like, okay, I know this. Okay, I get to analyze myself. You know, like I just really be so anti talking about celebrities and talking about other people's lives and what they should do and what they shouldn't do and how people have mental illnesses and like people do all of these different things. I just be so anti that. And like, nah, let's talk about what do you feel like you need to work on? Like what you know, like let's turn that mirror back around, because it's easy to talk about somebody else, but it's hard to really go inside your own soul and really like get that hate out your heart, because that's what we're trying to do. Yeah. You know, get these toxic learned behaviors out your heart, get that out your mind, get that out your being, you know, like.
And there are layers, you know,
it's like an onion.
And that's the thing is there's no quick fix. Nope. And you have to do certain things. You know, some people are like, well, I don't like meditating, or I don't like spending time by myself, or I don't like these things, or you don't have to be by yourself to heal. And so when people say things like that, you know, or they're like, you know, I'm not going to do these, or I'm not going to do that. And I'll, you know, kind of just say, well, and that's your choice. Absolutely. And if you find a way to be able to find yourself and your inner wisdom and that love that is hiding within inside of you, that you got to break down through those walls, and you find that without spending time with yourself, that's great. Write a book about it. Let's hear about it, because I would love to hear that method. Because you're not what you're actually doing is trying to find the distraction so you don't have to look at what that pain is. And there's a lot of people that want to be healed so badly already that they'll just be like, nope, I'm good. You know, I don't need to do any more healing. I'm good. And then they go out and hurt other people without realizing it. And it's all subconscious. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not one of those people that thinks something's good or bad. I'm very like, you know, this is all about the balance, and we have to go through things that are a little bit more difficult sometimes. And it's really your perspective on how difficult it is. So yeah, it's just it's a very interesting journey when people refuse to look at and take accountability. Yeah. You know,
I mean, I think honestly, that's key. That's key. And like, I really feel like this journey, people are here to like remember the God within, to find God. And like, one of the things that I always say is that people treat people how they believe God treats them. Yes. And if you believe that God is jealous, vindictive, has all of these stipulations for you to get his love or her love or its love, then you will treat people the exact same way. But it's like when you reprogram your own mind, and this is what I teach about, reprogram your own mind for divine attraction and abundance. And so it's like when you see God in a different light, you see yourself in a different light. So when you see God as all love, that it wants for you what you want for you, it wants you to heal, it wants you to have a prosperous and abundant life, then you start to treat yourself that way, and then you start to treat other people that way. And so like, I feel like how people being taught about God has really affected people. And like, I'm all about getting to the root cause, the solution. That's why I talk about solutions. Like, that's why I named my company Jade Gems and Solutions, because people try to like, oh, I just want to heal. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. But it's like, you're not going to the root cause, the soul. No, right. And it's like, when you connect and like really like mold that and like really get in tune with your soul, then you're able to treat yourself better. You're able to eat better. You're able to think better. You're able to treat people better. And that's what I'm a big believer in. Like, if you get your relationship right with God, everything else takes care of itself. You don't have to do any of the things. And if you can get your relationship right without meditating, without yoga, I say just focus your intention on getting right with God. The God within and the God around you. You know, like, I think about it as simply as that, like, you know, like, just work on getting that the, though, I don't want to say work on getting anything out of your heart, because like I feel like that's working backwards, trying to fight your old habits.
I'm not really big on the word work in general when it comes to the, doing the healing, and I still haven't like put my finger on what word I want to use, but I feel like work, it just has like such a negative tendency to like, to people, they're like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
I understand what you're saying. Like just peeling the layers.
Well, I would say one of the things that helped me is not working. Like I was working, like that's because that's all we know. We work.
Yeah.
And now I want to like love my experience into existence. I want to give so much love to what I do.
Yes.
That it automatically just happens.
Yeah.
So like adding in that stuff to yourself, like not fighting the old, but just building on the new, like let the old be the old, but find different practices.
Oh my gosh, that's so important because, and that's the thing, is our past built us. Like you don't want to hang on to it, but it still existed and it was still a part
it made you who you are today. And it's not that person isn't bad. That person isn't who who you've been taught to believe about yourself. It's like, no, just find and create new practices to help you see yourself in a better way.
Yeah.
That's been like key for me, because like I was trying to fight the old. Like I was like, man, like with religion, like, like trying to like prove every religion wrong, prove the government wrong. Like, well, I still like know what I know about the government and different facets. Like, no, they still have their ways. Proving these different things wrong instead of like, okay, what can I do to be better?
Yeah.
Like that was simply what it was for me. And like, all I want to do is fill my being, my essence with love, with good vibrations, with, stuff that I love to do, like basketball, yoga, writing, treating people well. Like anything that like the passions that I've gained in like art, like anything that I feel like brings me love and enjoyment, I'm gonna surround myself with that people, like the right people, so like, yeah.
Well, and I've really learned that it's all about getting back to, playing,
that's childlike energy.
Yeah, just like coming back to being a child again, and remembering that the children are teaching us. We are only here to guide. We are only here to guide the little ones so that they learn how to eat and they learn how to take care of themselves. But they're the ones that are really teaching us how to live.
I say that all the time. Like I have a 4 and a 6-year-old nephew, and like I literally just observe them. Like I talk to them, like, and just have good, like, but like I literally just watch how they interact with other kids, with adults, with adults. We all just kids roaming around this place. But like I just look at how they just bring this energy to life, and it's like you're taught how to be an adult. You're taught how to dial yourself down, docile yourself. It's like,
stand in line.
Yeah,
keep yourself still, like all of those things.
Yeah, it's like you need to have that freedom, with guidelines and different stuff like that. But like that childlike creativity that they have, like I just look at them and I try to implement everything that they have into my own life. I don't try to force my ways on them. Like they're already getting out enough through their parents, through my grandparents, through aunties and uncles. I'm like, through school, through church. I'm just like, hey. What y'all here to teach me? And when y'all get older, we can teach each other along the way. And so, like, But kids are definitely the real teachers.
Important. Absolutely, it's so important to remember that because and in my generation, I'm a Gen Xer, so in our generation, it was like we really just weren't paid attention to much, and so it wasn't even that we were forced into being like silenced. We just didn't really have direction. There really wasn't. And so it's so fun to watch my boys growing up with like a different kind of mindset and not having that sort of like, I don't really know, and they are using their own minds to make plans for their future. And they're not, neither one of them, one of them tried college a little bit and the other one's in college right now. And he's like, I don't know, Mom, I don't really want to do this. And I'm like, dude, that's totally fine. Whatever you find for yourself is what is you're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
And I think it's just so important to stop forcing kids to like be these little mini me's.
I fully understand, because I was on the other side of that, other side of that spectrum, like go to school, get a good job, do what you're supposed to do. If you don't do, you go get a whooping.
Well, they had their dad saying that to them, and I'm over here like, yeah, whatever.
And so it's like like now, like within the last, since 2013, 2014 is when I really started to figure out how to think for myself, how to be and live for myself, instead of like living for the approval of my parents, of my siblings. Like I really felt like a lot of my life I did try to fit into the box. And I'm like, nah, like y'all don't even fit into your own boxes per se. And so like, it's no way I could even try. So it's like through all of that thinking, I was like, I'll put that down. I'm gonna just live my own life and do what I got to do.
How did your parents take that? Just out of curiosity.
My dad was more like, he helped me along this journey. So like my dad was the first one when I started questioning God and trying to figure out this whole thing. And so my dad gave me different books to read. So the first book he gave me was Gifted Hands. And that was a book by Ben Carson. He was the first doctor to pull apart conjoined twins.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm asking him, how do I find God? And so like he sends me that book and like I read it and I'm like, dang, I don't see God in this. I don't know. So I keep asking the question. He like, you ain't like, obviously you're not ready. Obviously, because looking back at it now, that is the most beautiful essence of God that you can eat. Like, and so, but my mom, she's like, you got to do this like this. And so like she definitely accepts it. She doesn't try to force anything. And like, she definitely understands it. And we're trying to get them to do better and be better. Like the stuff that like they taught us was amazing. Like my parents like have been doing work in the community for years, like really helping people. And so like they ingrained a beautiful spirit within me and my siblings. And so they taught us a lot. And so now, like throughout our experience and my experience, I try to bring back what I've learned through eating healthy, meditation, yoga, treating people better. I try to bring a fresh perspective because I'm the baby. So like, and it's funny, I'll tell you this, and you're super into astrology. My mom is a Libra, my brother is a Libra, and then my sister and my dad are Geminis, and then I come out this. So now I'm like,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so like maybe you can tell me more about what that actually means, but like I always see this different
I feel
dichotomy.
Like when you have like your family comes together for meals, it's like half of your family's acting a fool and the other half's going, again? Like we're doing this, and then they get into it. Like the Libras have to kind of like watch it for a minute, like, oh, these fools are doing it again. And then they like have to get in on it because I love Libra energy. My second ex-husband's a Libra energy, and it's so, but all of those signs are so social. Like y'all got to be loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, actually, I could kind of see that. We are pretty loud.
I mean, I had two Geminis. My two older boys are Geminis, and they would come home from school and just talk. And I'm like, wow, you guys did a lot.
And it's funny because I've never been the talker. Like I've always been super introverted. Like I've always been in my own bubble and just kind of like to myself and just kind of thinking on my own thoughts. Like I'm not super I'm more outgoing now through my own healing, through learning and different stuff like that, and consciously making myself outgoing. Like this is the most that I ever like talk.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that you were an introvert at all. But I don't talk. I'm an introvert too. Like I don't The most that I talk is when I'm doing my job.
Oh
Also.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm super quiet. Like I'm more of an observer. And like if people ask me something, then I can have a conversation. I'll speak and I'll let my soul, let my soul go now and just go and speak. But I'm always in the background. Like
That's
even now,
awesome.
I like to be the one that supports people. Like I like to be the one. I don't necessarily want to be the face, but I know that with this life I have to put myself out here more.
Do you know what do you know what your moon sign is? I'm gonna guess it's like an earth sign.
Well, depending on which astrology you're talking.
Oh wow. So is it an air sign then?
Yeah. So in tropical and sidereal, in tropical, I'm a Cancer moon actually.
Oh, okay.
So I feel everything. So like that's like I'm more on the absorbing people's emotions.
Yeah, that's where that's where the observing comes from too.
Yeah.
In big ways.
But in sidereal, I'm a Gemini moon.
Oh wow. Cool.
Yeah. So I mean.
Yeah, I was wondering. It's very interesting for you to say that, because I've never known a Sagittarius to be kind of the anchor of the family, and that almost sounds like what you sort of are sometimes, because you can witness your emotions and witness everybody else's emotions too. It's and that really anchors a family down in a really big way. A lot. I mean, I don't know that you probably even recognize that you can control the energy sometimes when things are getting a little out of hand.
Actually, I've gotten more in tune with that now. Like I didn't gotten more like in tune with my energy and that fire sign. Like I'm super passionate. Like when it comes to it, like I always thought that I always thought that I was a nonchalant. I always thought like nothing bothers me. Like I'm very stoic on the outside, but like on the inside, like I'm like like super
very emotional.
like
super, yeah. Have you done your human design?
I have, recently.
Are you a non-emotional, or you're an emotional though, right?
Nah, I'm a projector.
Well, but you're the way that you feel things, like the way that your emotions come out, there's like an emotional or a non-emotional. And I'm just
I might not have
seen
that part.
Yeah.
I might not have seen that part, but I definitely come off emotional.
Yeah,
no, I come off super emotional.
Well, non-emotionals feel, it's not that they're not emotional, it's that they feel everybody else's emotion so much that sometimes they think it's theirs, and it's like heightened. So they feel other people's emotions. So if somebody's feeling sad at a 2, you're going to feel it at a 6.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's the case with you. I would not be surprised if you were not emotional.
I'm definitely like that. And I have to have those conversations with myself all the time.
Is this my energy, or is this somebody else's? For sure.
Well, it's like I know that it's not mine, but I can still absorb it, and I still feel it. It's like, regardless of like if I know it's mine or not, like I know it's not mine because I know that I don't give that energy off. Like I know that it's not that. Yeah. Especially with the work I've been doing, like still healing through a lot of it. But like I'm like, nah, this is not me. Like I know that, but it's like regardless, because I think it's because the connection's so close, and I just feel it. Like if somebody's hurting, I feel it. Absolutely. Like I can see somebody like get a cut, and like I'll feel like this numbness, and this vibration in my leg. I feel like other people's emotions. I'm like, man, like I didn't even like I like till this day, if I like watch a basketball game and see somebody sprain an ankle, my whole body I
cringe.
Yeah, like I can't even watch. I fast forward, I turn my head away.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm like, dog, like I really be feeling other like and like being on Twitter, like I feel like a lot of emotions, like the state of the world. Like when you talk about it, like I really like feel a lot of this stuff going on. So like that's what brings a lot of the clarity for like my books and about the stuff that I write, because I feel what like at least I do my best to empathize and feel what other people are feeling, and then I'm able to express it in ways through my own healing.
Yeah, and it's so important that you're empathizing and you're not taking it on as your own.
Oh yeah. So important.
I'm sure that there was probably a time where you did, and and like hard habits to break.
Oh yeah, still, and it's like I'm like that's why I meditate, do yoga. drink my smoothies. I create great habits for myself. So at this point, I know I know what I'm doing is helping me to be a better person. And when I feel other people's doubts, fears, insecurities, all these different things, I'm like, I've never been that person. I've always known I can do everything.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I went and just got an engineering degree. I could just look at even from not being good at basketball to practicing and becoming and started being better than people. Mm-hmm. And being able to write books, to create socks.
The fire
socks. Oh yeah, I got my shirt on.
Yeah. That's just so much. And I mean, I'm sure that we could probably talk for a whole other hour. So I'm going to have you on the show again sometime.
Oh yeah.
And I really appreciate you being here. And so we have how many ebooks? You have 2 now?
No, I have, so what I have published, I have 3 ebooks. I even have an ebook on cryptocurrency as well for people who want to get into that realm as well. Nice. I'm a cryptocurrency enthused expert. It's all in my link in my bio. So I have 3 ebooks, and I created a soul engineering secrets course. Yes. So where we really break down and go through section by section how to reprogram your heart and mind for divine attraction and abundance. So got that as well, and working on some other stuff. I got some stuff in the works. I really been creating, and that's taken away from me posting, but the stuff I'm working on is beautiful, and I can't wait to share.
That's great too. And I love that when people can allow themselves to pull away and get into their flow, because we all know that nothing's going anywhere. Whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, that's what you're supposed to be doing, period. So thank you, Jadeverett, so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to put all of your information in the description box too of this. And we'll see you on Twitter and all the socials when you showing up.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, Bessie. Let's unleash the guy within. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks, Jade. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you, you too.
Bye.